Hello viewers, today I am going to talk about the biography and the contribution of Ustad Wazir Khan of Rampur Gharana, who was the greatest beenkar of the late 19th and the early 20th century. He was a brilliant teacher, performer and Dhrupad singer. He was one of the direct descendants of Mian Tansen. Now let's know about the background and the musical training of Ustad Wazir Khan. Ustad Wazir Khan's Gharana, that is Saini Gharana, dates back to the 16th century to Mian Tansen's daughter Saraswati Devi and son-in-law Mishri Singh or Naubat Khan's lineage. Mishri Singh, son of Smokhan Singh, was a celebrated veena player and Dhrupad singer. His descendants formed the main Gharana of veena players. Hence, it is called the Beenkars Gharana of the main Saini Gharana. Among us, the descendants of Beenkar Gharana was Ustad Umrao Khan, who was veena, surbahar and flute player, and whose son Ustad Amir Khan was one of the founder of the famous Rampur Gharana of music in the 19th century. Wazir Khan was the illustrious son of Ustad Amir Khan. His name predominates among all other names of Rampur Gharana of classical music. Wazir Khan was born in the year 1860 at Rampur State. As stated earlier, his father Ustad Amir Khan, who was a renowned beenkar and Dhrupad singer and was employed as one of the leading state musicians under the patronage of Nawab Rampur Kalbe Ali Khan, who himself was the renowned beenkar and Dhrupad singer of his times. Wazir Khan started his early training in music from his father at the tender age of 9 years. Wazir Khan learnt veena from his father Amir Khan and sursingar from Bahadur Hussain Khan, who was the other founder of Rampur Gharana along with Ustad Amir Khan. Bahadur Hussain Khan was a renowned sursingar player and was the top state musician of Rampur. Bahadur Hussain Khan was also Amir Khan's uncle-in-law. So he was the maternal grandfather of Wazir Khan. Bahadur Hussain Khan had no male issue. Therefore, he imparted Wazir Khan the sound knowledge of Dhrupad singing and sursingar instrument. It is an irony of fate that Wazir Khan's father, grandfather and the then Nawab Rampur expired one by one in his early age. After their death, Wazir Khan was also trained by Nawab Haidar Ali Khan. Nawab Haidar Ali was the brother of Nawab Rampur and was also the disciple of Wazir Khan's father, Ustad Amir Khan. Haidar Ali Khan was a unique musician of vocal and instrumental both, and had a sound theoretical knowledge also. After the death of Wazir Khan's father, Nawab Haidar Ali Khan, as a guardian of Wazir Khan, took him under his protection. Nawab lodged Wazir Khan in his palace, where later he married a girl from the Nawab family. Nawab Haidar Ali developed his extraordinary musical genius. Wazir Khan also learned Dhrupad, Dhamar and emerged as a melodious vocalist and great instrumentalist. After receiving musical training, Wazir Khan made his interstate tour to gain practical experience in the field. While touring, he reached Varanasi. In Varanasi, Wazir Khan stayed with Sadiq Ali Khan, Nijar Ali Khan and Ali Muhammad of Saini Gharana, who were his grand uncles. Wazir Khan was also trained by all of them and he got the sound knowledge for a pretty long time. Being well versed in both vocal and instrumental, he left for Calcutta, now Kolkata. He stayed in Calcutta for 8 years and then he was called back by the then Nawab of Rampur, Nawab Hamid Ali Khan, on the recommendation of his uncle Nawab Hyder Ali Khan. Hamid Ali Khan appointed Ustad Wazir Khan as the state musician of Rampur to maintain the tradition of his forefathers. Nawab Hamid Ali himself got the training from Ustad Wazir Khan in Veena and Dhrupat and Hori style of singing. Ustad Wazir Khan was highly esteemed by Nawab Rampur, and he was amongst one of the finest Ratna, that is gems of his court. During the early part of 20th century, Nawab Hamid Ali Khan, following the tradition of his previous musical darbars, formed a unique musical association presided over by Ustad Wazir Khan. Thus, Ustad Wazir Khan was highly esteemed, who enriched Indian music with many outstanding musicians by his teaching. Now, the disciples of Ustad Wazir Khan. Ustad Wazir Khan's 3 sons, Nazir Khan, Nasir Khan and Sagir Khan, were his favorite disciples. Though all the 3 sons of Wazir Khan were well versed in the tradition of Gharana, yet his eldest son Nazir Khan, who is also known as Pyare Khan, was the best amongst all of his sons. Pyare Khan learned vocal and bean of his Gharana and emerged as a very talented and reputed musician and the true descendant of his Gharana. But he died prematurely. The sudden death of very talented and beloved son was unbearable for the old father Wazir Khan. But even after the demise of his eldest son, Ustad Wazir Khan continued to impart the training of his Gharana, and that too in his very old age. He made his earnest efforts so that his Gharana might survive forever. He taught his youngest son Sagir Khan and grandson Dabir Khan. His efforts bore fruit, and in a very short time, his son and grandson turned the true descendants of his Gharana. Besides 3 sons and a grandson Dabir Khan and Rampur Nawab Hamid Ali Khan, Wazir Khan enriched the Indian music by contributing many outstanding musicians. These illustrious disciples of Wazir Khan were Allauddin Khan and Hafiz Ali Khan, the renowned Srot players, Mehndi Hussain Khan, Dhrupat and Khyal singer, Mushtaq Hussain Khan, the famous Khyal singer, Nasir Ali, the Surbahar player, Muhammad Hussain, the Veena player, Abdul Rahim Khan, the Sitar player, and Jadbendra Mahapatra, the Surbahar player, and many more. It is not unnecessary to mention here that when Wazir Khan was in Calcutta in his youth, he had special liking for Bengalis. Later, he also helped for the development of classical music in Bengal. Among his Bengali disciples, Girja Shankar Chakrabarti, the Dhrupat, Khyal and Thumri singer's name is worth mentioning. The most famous disciples of Ustad Wazir Khan were Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan, the renowned Srot player, and the legendary musician Ustad Allauddin Khan, who is known for his contribution of Meher Gharana of music. Their outstanding contribution towards Hindustani music requires a little more elaboration. So now his disciple Hafiz Ali Khan. Hafiz Ali Khan was the renowned Srot player of the first half of the 20th century. Though he grew up in the family of Srot players, but finally he took lessons from Beenkar Ustad Wazir Khan. Hafiz Ali Khan was the finest blend of instrumentalist and vocalist. The renowned Srot player Hafiz Ali Khan was also the finest Dhrupad and Thumri singer. In his lifetime, he was honored with the title Aftab-e-Sarod by Bengal Music Conference and with the award and the fellowship of Sangeet Natak Academy. He was also conferred with the Padma Bhushan in 1960 by the Government of India for his outstanding contribution. Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan's youngest son, after the three sons of Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan is one of the most loved and the admired Srot player of the present times and the greatest exponent of his family tradition. Now about the Wazir Khan's disciple Allauddin Khan. Ustad Wazir Khan's most eligible disciple was Ustad Allauddin Khan. As we know him as a legendary figure in Indian music, who is known for his contribution of Meher Gharana in music. He was an extraordinary teacher and performer. It is said he had mastered 18 instruments including tabla, violin, sursingar and surbahar, and he could play all the instruments with full command. But finally, he turned to Srot. There is a very long story behind how Allauddin Khan became the disciple of Ustad Wazir Khan. When Allauddin decided to seek training from the great Ustad Wazir Khan of Beenkar Gharana, he had to confront many difficulties in becoming Wazir Khan's disciple. It is said Allauddin, filled with enthusiasm and hope to receive training from Ustad Wazir Khan, went to see him. But seeing his shabby clothes and poor appearance, Santris of Wazir Khan, that is, guards of Wazir Khan, denied him to enter. But the young Allauddin decided that he would either learn from this great maestro or he would end up his life. Later on, the recommendation of Nawab Rampur, he became the disciple of Ustad Wazir Khan, following a proper ceremony. Not unnecessary to mention that the whole ceremony was got performed by the Nawab Rampur himself at his own expenses. But it is said, even after the performance of the ceremony for almost 3 years, Allauddin did not get the opportunity to receive training from Ustad Wazir Khan. After the long wait of 3 years, Allauddin became the favorite disciple of Ustad Wazir Khan. Ustad knew it well that it was Allauddin only who could receive and assimilate his training in a very short time. So Wazir Khan eventually opened all his treasure of music and taught Allauddin Khan for 12 years without any reservation. Wazir Khan taught him the hundreds of his traditional Dhrupad, Dhamar compositions and different baj, that is styles of playing of veena, rabab and sursingar instrument, but with a promise from Allauddin Khan that he would not play all these on his Gharana's traditional instruments. Allauddin too kept his promise and he played all these techniques and styles on Srot. Allauddin Khan, because of his talent and determination to attain perfection in music, became the most important figure in the North Indian classical music in the last century. who was also the exponent of Meher Gharana. Meher Gharana is named after the name of the place in MP where he settled after the training from Ustad Wazir Khan till the end of his life. It is said, on hearing the news of Ustad Wazir Khan's illness, Allauddin Khan rushed to see him. Wazir Khan blessed him that the name of Allauddin and his disciples would survive forever, and they would carry the great tradition of Beenkar's Gharana, and thus the glory of Mian Tansin. Wazir Khan's words proved to be very true, as it is evident from Ustad Allauddin Khan's lineage. Allauddin Khan transferred the vast wealth of his musical knowledge to a large number of his disciples. Amongst his disciples, the most famous are his son, the legendary Sarod maestro, late Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, the sitar maestro, the living legend Pandit Ravi Shankar, Allauddin Khan's own daughter Annapurna Devi, the renowned Surbahar player. Allauddin's other famous disciples are his grandson Ustad Ashish Khan, sitar maestro late Nikhil Banerjee, flute player Pannalal Ghosh, and many more famous names. He left behind him the rich legacy of his Gharana. Not only this, Ustad Allauddin Khan was conferred with many awards during his lifetime. He was awarded with Sangeet Natak Academy Award and its highest honor, Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship, for the lifetime contribution to Indian music. He was conferred with Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan by the Government of India, the highest award ever given to an artist. But in his lifetime, he never gave weightage to all these awards. Instead, he remained dedicated towards music throughout his life. While concluding, we can say Ustad Wazir Khan of Rampur, the renowned Beenkar of 19th century, predominated all others' names in his Gharana. He made Hindustani music very rich by contributing very outstanding musicians both in vocal and instrumental fields. Besides sons and grandson of Ustad Wazir Khan, his very talented disciples Ustad Allauddin Khan, Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan, Ustad Mushtaq Hussain Khan, and many others who perpetuated his memory in the music world through the tradition of Rampur Gharana after the death of Ustad Wazir Khan in 1926. Music scholar Jatin Bhattacharya has mentioned in his book, Wazir Khan was more a philosopher than a musician and more a saint than a family man. His contribution to the music world is invaluable. His tradition of Rampur Gharana will survive forever. Thank you.